Hi, and welcome to an episode of the Diary of. I'm your host, Daika Dennis, and today's journal entry is going to be me featuring an amazing and a very special person that I'm actually going to let introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Daika. My name is Brittany, and I am so excited to be here today, especially to talk about this topic of survivors. And we'll definitely get more into that later on. But a little about myself. My name is Brittany. I am the manager of education and prevention for women in distress. And I also do so many other things. My background is mental health. I do have a degree in marriage and family therapy, currently getting my PhD in Christian counseling, and I am truly excited to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I am so excited to have you here, and I'm very excited to talk about this topic.
Yeah.
Reason being that I recently went through a DV experience and it was able to survive.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I realized is that it happens a lot more than I thought, more than I imagined. Like, I remember talking to a friend about the experience, and that's when she opened up to me and saying like, yeah, she's been through it too. And she spoke about it as if it was something normal and something that like you could just get over. And I don't agree. I don't feel like love should ever hurt. Love should ever put their hands on you for whatever reason. Love should never be emotionally abusive because it's not just physical nor manipulating. And I wanted to bring you here to spread awareness on that. Can you tell us just a little bit about your background of what made you become a part of
Women in
Distress?
So you're right. Domestic violence, that's what DV is. But domestic violence does not have a gender or a face. What made me really want to be a part of Women in Distress, this opportunity was actually given to me, and I'm so grateful for having this opportunity because I'm a survivor. When I was younger, I was in a domestic violence relationship. And it was a little more difficult for me because it was the father of my child. So when you're not only experiencing domestic violence, but also you have to understand that every decision you make will affect your child, it's very hard for you to get out of that situation because you're scared. It's like the what ifs. And that's what happened with a lot of our survivors. There's so many what ifs, which keep them in situations like that. First and foremost, when individuals are in domestic violence relationships, people can look on the outside and say, oh, well, why don't he just leave? Or why don't she just leave?
Yeah.
But they don't understand, the situation that person may be experiencing or facing. So like right now we have an increase of domestic violence situations that are happening in undocumented homes.
Yeah.
Women who are undocumented because they were, I would say they were groomed to believe that this individual would help them with citizenship. Right. And so they're in these situations, they want to get out, but they're scared because they're like, okay, well, what happened if he don't sign my papers? Or what happens if he called DCF? Right. So there's so many reasons why people stay in relationships. Unfortunately, mine was, I had a child, so I'm like, okay, yes, I'm in this situation. I know it's not healthy for me, but what's going to happen? This person, at least, they're helping a little bit with finances when it comes to my child. Even though it is an uncomfortable situation, I still have a false sense of security because I'm like, okay, well, at least I have somebody there. What if this happens? So there are so many reasons why, individuals stay in domestic violence relationships, but that is why I love Women in Distress.
Yeah.
Women in Distress have provided such a wraparound support system for not just women, but men or even dogs. I'm going to tell you, you might laugh, but I'm serious. So what we found out in this young generation, they're not really having kids like, like our parents and our grandparents like that. So, a lot of people have pets. And one thing that a lot of the young generation, if they're in DV situations, they say, well, I'm afraid to leave because my boyfriend or my husband or my girlfriend is going to do something to my dog, right? Or my cat or my gerbil. Right. Because a pet is a pet. To find something to use. Yeah. Right. And so what Women in Distress have done, we provide 24-hour support. So we have a 24-hour hotline that you can call to get support. We provide therapy. We provide emergency shelters, but we also provide shelters for your animals.
That's good.
So we are one of the only, there are a few in the state of Florida, but we're one of the only ones that also have a pet shelter so that there's no excuse. If you're afraid that your pet, which is your fur baby, is going to get hurt, we say, hey, bring your baby with you.
That's good.
We'll provide you. And it is so cute. Listen, when I go to the pet shelter that we have, it is the most cutest thing. It has a doggy park, everything. And they really provide the love and support, not only that your pet need, but that you need, and we provide a safe space. If you have children, we have daycare. We help you when it comes to getting employment and getting back on your feet. We really try to provide wraparound support.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I love Women in Distress, because it's a place where I wish I had when I had that situation going on, right? And I wish I knew that resource was there. Now, Women in Distress have been around for 50 years, but because domestic violence is something that's talked about on a regular basis, I didn't know that resource was there.
Yeah, I didn't know about it till
right
recently. Yeah,
and they even help individuals get emergency injunctions. If you need restraining orders,
all of that, they help you with the process.
Yes,
they help you. They give you an advocate.
Yes, it is. It's so amazing. I can think back when I went through the process of finally saying, okay, you know what? I want to get out of this situation. Me and my child deserve better. So I had to go through the process of getting a restraining order, and it was very stressful. You're there, you don't know what to do. So to have that resource, somebody can walk you through that process and you have that support, it makes a world of difference.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
A question I had, because a lot of people are scared to leave their situations. A lot of people, not only are they scared to leave their situations because they don't know resources are out there. Also, they're scared because I know one thing for me, by the grace of God, I left. But I know after thoughts of, am I going too far? Or am I, how can I say this? I was feeling like, dang, am I doing too much by, calling the police? Am I doing too much by actually reaching out to women in distress? What would you say to the people that have been through so much, possibly with their partner, where they start to minimize the abuse that they're going into, where to a point it might convince them that, oh, it wasn't that bad, I should go back, or I could go back?
That is always a tough thing to navigate when you're experiencing a situation like domestic violence. So let's talk about domestic violence first. A lot of people think that domestic violence just includes, physical, right?
Yeah.
Hitting. But there's so many different forms of domestic violence that a lot of people don't know. So in domestic violence, under that umbrella, you have physical, of course, you have financial, right? You also have emotional, which a lot of people do not know that is a form of domestic violence. Because think about an abuser. An abuser's job is to manipulate and control, right? The young people these days, they love the word gaslight. And that's what abusers are good at doing. They will make you think that what you are doing is too much.
Yeah.
Right. But honestly, I always say, take a step back and look at your situation. Ask yourself, does this situation make me feel good? Does it make me feel good mentally? Mm-hmm. Does it make me feel good emotionally? If you are a person that is a believer, regardless of what religion you believe in, does it make you feel good spiritually? If there is some type of doubt in your mind that, okay, this does not feel good, then allow that to help you identify what needs to be your next step.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that we do at Women in Distress, when we have survivors call our hotline, every survivor, when they call, they're not going to leave their situation. Sometimes they just need to call and have somebody to talk to. Mm-hmm. But one thing that we do help survivors create is a safety plan. Okay. So I always tell people, even if you don't call the hotline, if you find yourself experiencing domestic violence or any type of situation where you feel uncomfortable, create yourself a safety plan, right? Start thinking about, okay, what are some steps that I can do to help get myself out of this situation? Again, one thing that we just talked about was financial abuse. So a lot of abusers, they use finance over the survivor, right? So what does that look like? Maybe he or she, because remember, there's no gender when it comes to an abuser. So maybe he or she is forcing you to make them have full access of your bank account, right? Or unfortunately, we have individuals who do get, supplemental Social Security benefits. So abusers may force that person to make them be their payee on their check so that all their monies come to them. So if one of the abuses that you are experiencing is financial abuse, in your safety plan, you need to start establishing ways to start building your financial independence, right? Yeah, So you want to slowly find your independence. So when it comes to financial abuse, what are some things? Cut off access in a safe manner, right? Because you don't want to create a situation where you are triggering the person, right? So open yourself up another bank account and start slowly depositing money in that account, right? Start slowly doing things that's going to help you gain your independence. In your safety plan, find somebody who you feel safe with, as far as like, it could be your parent, it could be a friend, somebody that you can trust, and have a conversation with them. Let them know, listen, I feel like I'm in an uncomfortable situation. I may need your support in the near future, so that you have a safe place that you can go to if things, come to a point where you need to escape. Yeah. Start creating your safety plan. And unfortunately, you're going to have to also be smart about it. So I heard this. It's sad that this person had to utilize this, but it was very smart. It was very genius. There was a survivor, and she had 3 children. And her husband was very abusive. I mean, to the point where the abuse also started trickling down to the children. And they live in Florida. So one thing when it comes to a safety plan, we always tell survivors to always put your important documents in a undisclosed location. So therefore, if you have to flee immediately, you have your documents. So one thing she did something so smart and so creative, because sometimes you got to outsmart them. You got to outsmart the abuser. So we know that we live in the state of Florida, and Florida is prone to hurricanes. Yeah. So what she did was, her and her children created emergency hurricane bags. So just in case a hurricane comes, make sure you have non-perishables. Make sure you put all your important papers in that bag. Make sure everything that you feel is important be put in the bag. She conditioned her children to always put their important things in their bag, right? So one day when the husband came home and he said, you know what? I'm going to kill you. This is the day I'm going to kill you. She immediately, all right, kids, let's go. We got to get our hurricane bags. We got to go. And he didn't even know that they had already packed it. Yeah. Right. And they was able to leave and flee and have all their important documents.
Wow, that's good.
Unfortunately, in, domestic violence situations, and also in this world, you always have to have a plan B.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we try to do. We try to help our survivors have that sense of safety, security, and also plan, not only to escape, but also plan for independence. So that's what I always say. Just identify, the situation that you're in, and then ask yourself, does this make me feel good? And if it don't, start planning your short-term and long-term goals, which is also your safety plan.
That's good.
Yeah. That's
good. For the survivors that are able to leave that situation and say now they have to perhaps they had kids and now they have to deal with court, paternity, so on and so forth. What resources does Women in Distress help with as far as that?
So we have lawyers that work with our organization. We also partner with various other organizations and also entities like the Broward County court system and all that. So we provide that support to make our survivors and their children feel safe. Because one thing, what people don't understand is abusers will try everything that they can to make the survivor feel as though the decision that they're making is not the best decision, and they will do anything to manipulate that person to get them back in that situation. Yeah. So one thing you will notice is that a lot of the abusers will try to use the children. They'll threaten the survivor. Oh, well, I'm going to take the kids. Or, let's say they do go through the courts and they have visitation. They try to manipulate the child to make it seem like mommy or daddy, remember the abuser, so mommy or daddy is the reason why we're separated, and try to use the child, in that situation. So what's very important with Women in Distress is we provide therapy. Therapy, I think, is one of the biggest things because if you have children involved, the children need that support and they need a safe space to express how they feel and have somebody to help them navigate this, right? You need therapy as a survivor because this is a whole, especially if you're leaving a space, even though you was experiencing domestic violence, your home is still your safe space. So imagine leaving your home in the middle of the night with your kids, leaving everything that you knew to be your norm to live in a shelter for the next 60 to 90 days. That's a transition in itself. How do you explain that? Right. So therapy is one of the best, I think, support systems that we have with Women in Distress. And then also that comfort knowing that we do have lawyers that are there to provide you with that support. We do have that connection with the Broward County court system to provide you with that support. And then if you, let's say, you call our helpline and you need help, but you're not in Broward, we are connected to over 40 organizations in the state of Florida that provide the same services. From Key West all the way up to Jacksonville, you will get that support. So we want survivors to know that regardless of what you're going through, we will provide you with that support. You just got to be bold enough to take that first step. Yeah.
That's good. Wow. I have so many questions.
It's
so
okay.
Many
I'm
thoughts.
Here. Ask.
I want to touch on your background in psychology for a little bit.
Okay.
Let's say this. Let's start with the basics. What are some red flags that people could spot and when they're in a relationship?
What are some red flags? Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. We're going to start with the younger generation first, and then we're going to go to the older generation. The reason why I say that, because your audience may be younger, right? And one thing about Women in Distress, we also do prevention. So we go into schools, elementary, middle school, high schools, also colleges. And we have these programs called Imagine and Bold. And also we have peer-to-peer that provides early intervention in education when it comes to identifying unhealthy relationships.
I've seen on the site, like you guys go again to elementary schools and middle schools. I said, what elementary school? kids get in relationships.
Let me tell you, you will not.
And what kind of person are you? Like as a kid,
you will not believe. So we have to take our, because we're older, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of have to take our own ideas or preconceived ideas out of it of, children. They're not old enough to experience it.
Yeah.
Honey, this is a new day and age. We also have young people as early as elementary school that are engaged in a risky behavior. So we have to be cognizant. This is a new world. Now I'm 40. I don't mind telling my age, okay? Because I look cute and good for my age. All right.
Grown and sexy.
So I'm 40, right? Back in my day, now I'm sounding like my parents who in their 80s. Back in my day, we didn't have Instagram. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have all that. We had MySpace, but we just used to get on there and just act stupid. And then I think we had like the chat line. Now I'm really telling my age because it was like a phone thing. We wasn't exposed to the things that this young generation is exposed to now, even in video games, so we have even games like Fortnite and, all these other different avenues where you have these people grooming these young children, and these children are befriending these predators, not understanding that these are not really my friend. I specifically have seen it happen where people have groomed family members of mine, and they were kids on Discord, so you have to start at a young age. And then don't even talk about relationships. If you help children in elementary school and middle school identify red flags in a bad friendship, then that'll help them identify red flags in relationships. So like in elementary school, what are we teaching kids? We're teaching kids that it is not okay for your friend to demand your location on their cell phone. You don't have to give your friend your location. That is a red flag.
Yeah.
Because that is the beginning stage of a person, right? Using their role in your life to abuse the privilege of a friendship. They're trying to control you. Right. So that's one thing. You don't have to, because now this young generation feel like, oh my gosh, I have to give my friends my location. They have to know why? They don't need to know that.
Especially elementary school.
Right. You are your own individual person. Like, if you're in elementary school and you have a friend, well, you know what? If you don't let me do this, I'm not going to let you use my ball, or I'm not going to give you none of my snacks. This is all the beginning stages of an abusive characteristic, right? So this is why we take this opportunity to help young kids identify healthy, healthy friendships, healthy and unhealthy traits, right? So that when they get older, they can identify the fact that, okay, well, you know what? When I was younger, this person explained to me that this is not a healthy trait. Now that I'm older, why do you need my location? I don't even know how to operate location. There's only one person that have my location, and that's my daughter, which I do think that's an abusive relationship too, because she's nosy. She always call me, Ma, you at the mall. Why you ain't tell me? Okay. But I feel like that is, it really takes away the freedom of a person, and I don't think that anybody should give a person that type of authority over their life. So we help a lot of these young kids identify.
Good,
and then when it comes to high school, we help a lot of these these high school students identify like unhealthy relationships.
Now they're in relationships.
And then they're naive, because we've all been there. If you're a woman, we all been there. Oh girl, he just crazy, child. He only act like that because he loved me.
I remember in high school, people liked crazy. They're like, I love him crazy.
They glorify it.
I have a friend to this day, he's saying he likes him crazy.
Yeah. They glorify. Oh, you know what? She just busts my windows, but that's my boo thing. She just crazy. No, boo-boo.
Calm down.
That's not healthy.
That's not at all.
Like, you have to help people identify these toxic relationships.
I was in high school. I was in a relationship when I was in high school. And my boyfriend at the time, he got upset at me because he was like, oh, well, you're not acting crazy, so you don't love me for real. You must not like me. And I was just like, why do you want me to act out of character? What is the reason? Why do you feel like that's love? It's not.
I think... Okay, so that's when I think a lot of psychology come into play. And I also think that that's what therapy come into play as well. Maybe it's because he needs someone to act that way to validate him and his worth, you know, and, you know, oh, well, I know I'm the bomb because I know y'all don't use that word, but I know I'm the bomb because, you know, she acted, you know, and I do think that plays a lot in it. It all boils down to your self-worth.
And your view of love.
And your view of love, right? Love, you shouldn't have to cut up to show a person that you care.
Yeah.
And then if you do find yourself cutting up in a situation, you know, you need to take a step back and look at yourself and say, is this really worth it? Listen, on these 40 years of my life, I've not always been poised and I've not always been level-headed. You know, there's a lot of things, not a lot, just in case my daughter looking, because she's always trying to hold stuff against me. There is not a lot of things, but there are some things that I did in my younger relationships that I wish I never did because I matured and I got older. And when I look back, I'm like, why did I even act like that? Because people will gaslight you and they will try to push you to a place to do things, right, like that, to kind of like validate them and make them feel like they're the big dog or the big kahuna or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, look, she acted like this, so I'm did it, and they use
they'll purposely do something to get that.
They're trying to trigger you,
yeah,
right. And so that's why it's so important that we have to identify our worth. And again, go back to the conversation we had a few minutes ago. When you're in a situation, ask yourself, does this make me feel good? We can go a little further. Does this make me look good?
Yeah.
How am I looking at this moment? You know, I mean, is this something that is going to hinder me, or does this relationship help me grow as a person? You know, and when you look at that and you really identify that, and if most of your answers are no on that imaginary checklist, then you need to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
Because you deserve better. And you have to know that you deserve better. So another thing I always tell people, both men and women, start doing things to build up your self-worth and your self-love. Understand that you are valued and you're worth more than just, you know, somebody talking down to you or, you know, disrespecting you. You're worth more. Understand your worth. And that will also, in understanding and identifying your worth, you won't fall for the foolishness.
Yeah. Yeah.
You won't fall for it. You know,
certain things now, like I look back and I'm just like, how? Why? But you know, the Lord has removed the scales from my eyes.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. But what are steps that men and women can take to go from a place of being in such a relationship to rebuilding trust and self-confidence with themselves?
I like the way you said that. Okay, so I personally think a lot of the situations that people find themselves in is because they don't identify their self-worth and their value, right? And so I think that is so important for you to start doing things to build up your self-esteem. So one thing for me, I don't mind putting myself out there. I'm very transparent.
I love it.
I have very low self-esteem. I even wrote a book. I wrote 2 books. So I'm an award-winning author, and I wrote 2 books, which talks about childhood depression, but how I got to a certain point. And as I got older, it helped me to identify certain things. And I wrote that book to kind of help people, you know, and also young people. But I was my largest weight was 415 pounds. So a lot of times when you are a larger person or you don't feel like your value, right, is high, you feel like, okay, well, you know what, it's a gift or it's a blessing that this person loved me. So I need to just cherish them, whatever they throw at me, I exactly. Because you don't have that value of self-worth in yourself. You have to, regardless of what you feel or whatever, you have to understand that you are here for a reason. You are the prize, you are the gem, and start focusing on building yourself up, making yourself better, focus on your finances, focus on your self-worth, focus on your health.
Yeah.
When you get out of a domestic violence relationship or an unhealthy relationship, find things to go in place of, the time that you spent with the abuser, right? Person. So start getting into the gym, start writing, start drawing, you know what I'm saying? Start doing things to fall in love with you.
Yeah. Find some hobbies.
Yes. Get some hobbies. Start indulging in some self-care. Get your hair done.
I think that's what I'm in right now.
Yes.
Especially becoming a mommy and then that identity crisis. It's just like, who are we right now? What are we doing?
Yes. You gotta start like loving on you, honey. Get you a good wig every 3 months. Yeah, save up. I'm talking about a good wig. We talking about the ones that don't shed. You know what I'm saying? Might take you some time to save up a little bit, but save up every 3 months and get you some hair. If you can't afford to get your nails done, go on Amazon. Go on Amazon and get you some cute press-ons. Nobody gonna know. They're not gonna be looking at your hand like, oh yeah, girl, that ain't acrylic.
And then the people that are, you should not be wearing it about them.
This is what I'm saying. And then I have a lot of women say, well, financially things are tough. It's hard for me to do self-care. Like, I want to buy me some new clothes, but I can't afford it. Honey, save up a couple of dollars and go to the thrift store.
Yeah.
Do what Nobody need to know where your clothes come from. Start little. Start little acts of self-care.
Love on yourself.
Will grow. Yes. Will grow into something so much bigger that you won't even realize. You'll find love.
And it doesn't even have to be big. Like, I know that getting out of such situations can be very draining, not just physically, but like emotionally, mentally. Like, self-love could start with making sure you take a shower every day. Making sure you at least get out of bed and make yourself breakfast. Not lunch, but breakfast. Very little.
But can I also say what self-care is also? Self-care can also be getting therapy.
Yeah.
You start that journey because, see, a lot of people feel like, oh, I have to do all this on my own. You don't have to. I always tell people, in the field of therapy, and one thing you'll hear this a lot. Therapists need therapy.
And that's one thing I really do appreciate with women in distress. The fact that you guys provide therapy and counseling. Yeah.
Get that support. Unbiased support. You know what I'm saying?
Because not only are you able to meet with one-on-one, you guys have group therapy.
We have group. Yeah. We have group therapy. We're also working with various organizations in the state of Florida that provide therapy to the abusers as well. Because, see, what people don't understand is hurt people hurt people. And even though we are talking about survivors, we don't understand that sometimes these abusers, even as a little kid, have been exposed to abuse. It's learned behavior. In therapy, that's something we talk about a lot. So instead of just not only helping the survivor, let's help the abusers too. Yeah. Let's help them identify, okay, what started this? What caused it? And how can we help you not fall back into the same situation? It's a
what
circle.
Are your triggers and why do those things trigger you? Yeah.
Right. And what do you think that you could possibly need to help you not go back to that? That's what it's all about. It's not about shaming anybody. It's about bringing awareness and also supporting on all fronts.
Yeah.
Just providing that support.
Because that's what everybody needs. The victims, the abusers, help.
Yeah.
Support.
I can say with the situation that I was in, you know, I can say today that I'm so proud of my child's father because they received the help and the support that they needed. And the person that they are today is not the person that they was all them years ago.
That's beautiful.
I see the growth. And because they got that support, I'm going to be honest with you, they are one of the best fathers to our child.
That's good.
Because they identified that. And that's what it's all about. It's not about shaming a person. It's not about, it's about getting everybody help so that they can all thrive in their respective places,
Yeah.
And then now in their relationship, their current relationship, now they're better to that next person.
That's good.
That's what it's all about.
Stopping the cycle of hurt people. That's good.
And now they're a grandfather and all that. And I see that growth. And that's what I love to see also at Women in Distress. When I see the growth and the happiness of the survivors, of the children, of the dogs running around, wagging their tails,
happy.
Right. And seeing the change of the abusers when they get the therapy and the help that they need. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I do want to end off there with that statement, like everybody needs help.
Yes.
Everybody. It's a cycle of hurt people. And until we not only help the victims, but the people too, it's going to continue. So I really do love that. What are ways that we're going to close off with, like, just what are ways that people could reach out to Women in Distress? Phone numbers, emails. I believe you guys have a few locations around Florida.
Yeah.
Right?
So the best thing to do is go to womenindistress.org. Go to womenindistress.org. You can learn more about all the things that we provide, the support. And then also, if you want to get involved, we have a lot of opportunities for people to get involved with Women in Distress. If you want to volunteer, we also have a thrift store, which is great. So everything that's sold in a thrift store goes straight to supporting our survivors. But also the good thing about it is we have survivors that come in, and so our emergency shelter, our survivors can be in the shelter up to 90 days. So after 90 days, we help them get support and get on their feet, whether it's get an apartment or, so we also give them vouchers so they can go to the thrift store and pick out all the things that they need for them and their children. But definitely go to womenindistress.org, learn about all the amazing things that we have to offer for survivors here in the state of Florida, and also how to get involved. We have the holidays coming up, so we do a lot of drives. We can always use toiletries. Anything from lotions, soaps, Pampers, we welcome it all. And definitely, like I said, survivors come in all genders and all races. I always tell people, don't let the name Women in Distress deter you from reaching out to us, because it's not just women. We support all. In our emergency shelters, we have men, we have women, we have children, and we love and embrace individuals from the LGBTQ plus community. We support all peoples.
That's good.
And your dog. Okay. So there's no excuse. Bring the dogs too. We can try to provide therapy for the dog. But we are an organization built on love, just providing support. And again, womenindistress.org. Reach out to us. Our numbers are there. All of our information is there. Even our state hotline. And just whatever you need, that's what we're here for.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. So guys, that's all we have for this episode. I do want to say thank you again, Brittany. You're amazing. The information you shared was amazing. I hope you guys take in consideration what we said. Definitely reach out to Women in Distress if you or somebody you know is experiencing domestic violence. You guys could even reach out to me. on my Instagram. And yeah, thank you for tuning in.